Hello. Now we will be discussing the Tandon committee method for working capital finance. We have already discussed turnover method, which is also known as NAYAK committee method. Keep in mind that these methods of assessing working capital might not be very useful for your RRB GPO exam, but they are very much useful for if you are going to appear in credit officer exams or GBO exams or other PSUs. Further, this topic you will find that this is the most important topic for interview, and every time I have interviewed a number of candidates and find that almost every second candidate and sometimes all candidates have been asked the ways how they will be assessing the working capital. This is possible when you have a true knowledge of this. Okay, now we will move towards our discussion. The discussion regarding the Tandon committee, we should have a brief review of NAYAK committee before we go to Tandon committee methods. Okay. Now, NAYAK committee method says what is the basis of NAYAK committee methods. NAYAK committee method says the working capital limit will be 25% of projected annual turnover. Okay, projected annual turnover, out of which 20% will be sanctioned from the bank, and 5% of which will be the margin which will be contributed by the borrowing entity, the entity which is taking the facility of working capital. Now, you should also keep in mind that the NAYAK committee method is useful and generally used when the working capital is up to 5 crore, and very rarely in some cases when it is up to 7.5 crores. But the Tandon committee method is used when the working capital limit required is above 5 crores and above, and either the 7.5 crores and above for other industries like MSCs. Before we go to the actual method of calculating the working capital, we will be knowing that what are the historical data regarding this, what are the regions, what are the things which Tandon committee assessed while suggesting its methods. Tandon committee report emphasized the need to correlate buying credit to borrowers, entailed shifting from security based to need based approach. Okay, to need based approach. This should be in November 1975. November 1975, the concept of working capital for the maximum MPBF method was introduced to ensure the proper assessment of working capital. Means Tandon committee is also known as MPBF method, maximum permissible bank finance. Okay, maximum permissible bank finance. I expect that you people might have been aware of and gone through the what are the current assets and current liabilities, and what is the working capital and what is the working capital gap. As we have already discussed while discussing the NAYAK committee methods, Now, actually, three methods were proposed prescribed by Tandon committee, but only two are relevant for study and convenient for operational use. Therefore, we will study only method 1 and method 2. If you are interested in method 3, you may text me. I will be providing details thereof. We have two separate method ways of financing working capital limits, method 1 and method 2. Always keep in mind that banks are now free to decide minimum current ratio and determine the working capital requirements according to their perception of borrower and their credit needs. Means आरबीआई ने बैंकों को छूट दे रखी है कि बैंक्स ये डिसाइड करेंगे कितना वर्किंग कैपिटल देना है. Banks will decide. You cannot say कि MPBF मेथड से अगर मेरा लिमिट इतना आ रहा है और बैंक को नहीं लग रहा है कि आपको, चलो MPBF मेथड से मिनिमम परमिसेबल आपका लिमिट 50 लाख है, बट बैंक ने एसेस किया अपने हिसाब से तो वो ये पता चला कि आपको 40 लाख लिमिट में ही काम हो जाएगा. देन बैंक विल फाइनेंस ओनली 40 lakhs, नॉट द 50 lakhs. बट देयर शुड बी ए प्रॉपर justification of the approach the bank is using. Okay, bank cannot lend you money the way that just because saying that you need to go through this approach. Banks are free. RBI has given a free hand to banks to decide the way in which working capital will be assessed. RBI also directed that banks may evolve an appropriate system for assessing working capital needs whose requirement is above 1 crore. अगर अगर 1 करोड़ से ज्यादा की लिमिट बारोवर को चाहिए तो बैंक्स अपने हिसाब से कोई सिस्टम इवॉल्व कर सकते हैं जो वर्किंग कैपिटल नीड को एसेस करने का कोई एक तरीका हो सकता है. RBI also quoted that banks may even retain the concept of MPBF with necessary modifications. मतलब बैंक्स MPBF मेथड में भी अपने हिसाब से मॉडिफिकेशन कर सकते हैं. इट इज नॉट binding on the banks that they will be using MPBF methods only for the assessing the working capital limit of the borrowers. Some other important guidelines which are to be complied while sanctioning of the bank finance are below as prescribed by RBI. RBI ने ये प्रेस्क्राइब किया है कि वर्किंग कैपिटल फाइनेंसिंग के लिए ये आपको ध्यान देना है. ऐसे बारोवर जिनकी फंड बेस्ड वर्किंग कैपिटल लिमिट 5 करोड़ और उससे ज्यादा है, the banks are required to ensure that book debt finance does not exceed 75% of the limit sanctioned. अगर 5 करोड़ से ज्यादा की लिमिट है तो बुक डेट फाइनेंसिंग उनकी 5 करोड़ से ज्यादा है तो ये इंश्योर करना है कि वो 75% ऑफ द बुक डेट फाइनेंस से कम हो. ओके, बुक डेट फाइनेंसिंग को ना एक्सीड करे. जितने उनकी बुक डेट्स हैं उसके 75% को ही मैक्सिमम दे सकते हैं. द रिमेनिंग 25% ऑफ द क्रेडिट सेल्स में बी फाइनेंस थ्रू द बिल्स to ensure the greater use of bills for financing sales. Loan system credit loan system for delivery of bank credit. Loan system for delivery of bank credit was introduced for borrowers working capital of 10 crore and above. This is important कि लोन सिस्टम फॉर डिलीवरी ऑफ बैंक क्रेडिट किस पे लागू होता है. लोन सिस्टम फॉर डिलीवरी of bank credit applies to where the limit is 10 crore and above. Minimum level of loan component was fixed at 80%. Means 80% उनका लोन कंपोनेंट होगा एंड 20% वर्किंग कैपिटल लिमिट होगी। कैश क्रेडिट कंपोनेंट 20% होगा, बट बैंक्स में चेंज द कंपोजिशन। आरबीआई ने बोला है कि बैंक्स 10 करोड़ पे हमारा लोन सिस्टम डिलीवरी ऑफ बैंक क्रेडिट है, मतलब अगर 10 करोड़ से ज्यादा है तो हमें इंश्योर करेंगे कि टर्म लोन उसका 80%, मतलब लोन कंपोनेंट जो है वो 80% हो। बट आरबीआई ने बोला है कि बैंक्स में चेंज द कंपोजिशन ऑफ वर्किंग कैपिटल, ओके, beyond 20%, cash credit component beyond 20%, or to increase the loan component beyond 80% as the case may be if they so desire। मीन्स अगर बैंक को लगता है कि भाई 80% का जो हम लोन कंपोनेंट रख रहे हैं वो उसको ज्यादा जरूरी नहीं है, और व्हाट इज रिक्वायर्ड इज लेस देन 80%, बट द कैश क्रेडिट कंपोनेंट इज रिक्वायर्ड मोर, देन द बैंक्स में चेंज इट as per RBI। Now, banks are also expected appropriately price each of two components working capital finance taking into, मतलब बैंक की प्राइसिंग appropriate होनी चाहिए। Further, in case of borrowers with the working capital means fund based credit limit less than 10 crores, अगर 10 करोड़ से कम है fund based working capital, banks may persuade them to go in for loan system by offering an incentive in the form of lower rate of interest on loan component as compared to the cash credit component। ऐसे लोग जिनका लिमिट तो 10 लाख से कम है, 10 करोड़ से कम है, सॉरी, if the loan component is less than the 10 crore, but बैंक चाहे तो उनको, ओके, देन इन सच केसेस बैंक में ऑफर a loan with the lesser rate than the cash credit amount, it is up to the bank। ये जो गाइडलाइंस जो भी हैं वो बैंक पे बाउंडिंग नहीं है, बट बैंक की एक एडवाइजरी टाइप की है जिसको बैंक एक्सेप्ट कर भी सकता है और नहीं भी कर सकता है। Now we will discuss method of assessment capital one by one under traditional method, टंडन मेथड और एमपीबीएफ मेथड। तो अभी आपको पता चल गया होगा कि टंडन मेथड को ही ट्रेडिशनल मेथड भी कहते हैं। ट्रेडिशनल मेथड मतलब जैसा चला आ रहा है, और इसको ही एमपीबीएफ मेथड भी कहते हैं। दिस इज आल्सो नोन एज एमपीबीएफ मेथड आल्सो। टंडन कमिटी मेथड वन इज डिपेंडेंट is applicable when small scale units what which are requiring small scale units working capital 5 करोड़, ओके, अगर 5 करोड़ से ज्यादा की वर्किंग कैपिटल चाहिए तो स्मॉल स्केल, तो आप एमपीबीएफ मेथड वन लगा सकते हैं, ओके। अदर यूनिट्स जिसकी लिमिट 1 करोड़, अगर स्मॉल स्केल नहीं है, उसकी लिमिट 1 करोड़ की है, तो भी आप उसको एमपीबीएफ लगा सकते हो। कैन वी यूज नायक कमेटी आल्सो? यस, इट इज अप टू यू वेदर टू यूज नायक कमेटी और एमपीबीएफ मेथड्स, ठीक है। स्मॉल स्केल की है तो 5 करोड़ से ज्यादा या 5 करोड़ पे लगेगा। अदर यूनिट्स है तो 1 करोड़ तक भी, 1 करोड़ या एबो में भी आप टंडन कमेटी मेथड लगा सकते हैं। यू कैन यूज द टंडन कमेटी मेथड। However, RBI has given authority to the banks that they can change these limits as per their needs and requirement and may adopt some modifications in MPBF method. That's why some banks may follow these methods as per below। मतलब 5 करोड़ तक की है, लेकिन कई बैंक्स 7.5 और 10 करोड़ के ऊपर की फॉलो करते हैं उसको, अदर्स 2 करोड़ एंड अप टू means we see here that RBI has given a free hand to use any of the methods। It is up to us, up to internal guidelines and policies of the bank, which method is to be adopted। Under this method, the working capital means in under the first method, working capital is to be finance come out to be required working capital is current asset minus other current liability. ठीक है, means required working capital is okay. Required working capital means current asset minus other current liability, out of which the ratio of the finance will be 3:1. It is margin, means 75% bank will give the loan and 25% of this will be contributed by the borrower. Okay. What is the actual current asset minus other current liability? Now let us do a question so that the concepts get clear. Suppose uh, suppose suppose ABC is a company where current assets are 30 lakhs. Okay. Current liability other than bank borrowing given as 10 lakhs, then what will be working capital of this company? The company will working capital will be 30 lakhs, current assets minus other current liability 10, it is equal to 20. 20 lakhs in this case will be working capital. But in this 20 lakhs, 75% only bank will finance. Okay. 75% means 3 by 4 means 15 lakhs will be financed by bank and 5 lakhs will be the margin remaining. ठीक है, ये बैंक देगा, ये बारोवर अपने पास से लगाएगा और टोटल 20 lakhs हो जाएगा. This is the method 1 of MPBF method. MPBF method. What is the most important thing in this MPBF method? MPBF method 1, the most important thing is working capital gap, OCG, that is here related as current asset minus other current liability. Tandon method 2, under this method MPBF, that is required the working capital to be financed is the 1 minute 7 okay, comes out to be required working capital to be financed is 75% of the current assets. Okay, where W is the financing requirement. Suppose your current assets are 100, then 75% of this will be financed by the bank, that will be the 75 lakhs. Okay, now we will do some questions based on above methods. ABC Enterprises as a manufacturing company has current assets worth 5 lakhs and current assets liabilities of the 3 lakhs. According to Tandon Committee Method 1, what is the maximum permissible bank finance under Method 1? Under Method 1, we will calculate working capital gap. W is equal to current asset minus other current liability. If it is not quoted any bank liability, then bank liability will be 0. Then that is a 5 lakhs minus 3 lakhs, it will be the 2 lakhs, out of which 75% the bank will finance and remaining 25% will be the borrower's margin. Means 1.5 lakhs will be financed by the bank and point 0.5 lakhs will be the borrower's margin. Next question, XYZ retailers has the current asset this and current liability this following टंडन कमिटी MPBF 1 जैसा हमने ऊपर किया है वैसा ही इसमें भी क्या करेंगे, सबसे पहले वर्किंग कैपिटल का गैप निकालेंगे, मींस वर्किंग कैपिटल की कितनी रिक्वायरमेंट पड़ रही है, ये होगी करंट असेट्स माइनस करंट लायबिलिटी और ये टोटल हो जाएगी वर्किंग कैपिटल गैप। इसका सेवन इसका जो है जो भी निकल के आएगा इसका 75% दे देगा बैंक एंड रिमेनिंग 25% जो होगा वो बारोवर देगा। नाउ here also the net working capital or working capital gap will be current assets minus current liability. In the same way you can solve this question too. Next question, PQR services has current assets valued 65 lakhs, current liabilities of 40 lakhs. According to Tandon committee recommendation, bank finance is restricted to 75% of net working capital. Calculate the bank finance. Okay, bank finance will be the difference of this current assets, matlab 65 lakhs minus here 40 lakhs. It will be the 25 lakhs. It will be working capital gap, out of which 75% of this bank will give, means 25 into 3 by 4. ये हो गया 0.75, 18.75 lakhs will be the bank finance in this case. Out and remaining amount, that is out of this 25 lakhs means is 6.25. Okay, it will be margin that will be contributed by the borrower. Now next this question, DEF manufacturing company having current assets are 1 crore. Okay, current assets of 1 crore. 1 crore means 100 lakhs. Okay, current liabilities 62 lakhs. Current assets 100 lakhs. Current liabilities 62 lakhs. Working capital gap will be then minus 38 lakhs. Okay. Bank will finance 75% of this, means 38 into 3 by 4. 9.5 into 3, 28.5. 28.5 lakhs will be the bank finance. Then the bank finance is 28.5 lakhs. Working capital requirement is 38 lakhs. Note that, do not confuse that this is not the working capital. This is the what finance the bank will provide out of 38 lakhs of the requirement. What will be the working capital if it is asked? It will be current asset minus current liability. Now we will go through the question number 3, which I seem someone told that there is a wrong answer. I will be showing this. Further, you can solve the other questions in your own way. A business report the total amount of current assets is equal to 15 crore. No, 1.5 crore. Okay. 1.5 crore means 150 lakhs. Okay. A business reports total current assets 150 lakhs. What will be the maximum permissible bank finance according to Tandon committee method 2? Under method 2, okay, the bank finance will be limited to 75% of the current assets. Okay, 150 into 3 by 4. Okay. This will be the total working capital requirement of this, out of which the bank finance, okay, the bank finance 72.5 will be 1 minute. Here answer is not given. Okay, I will be 1 minute. I will be solving with this. See, here is 15 lakhs. 15 lakhs. 150 lakhs is the current assets. 150 lakhs is the current assets. Note that, keep in mind that while going to MPBF methods, okay, while when we are solving that MPBF method, then in MPBF method we have only current assets, okay, out of which 75% of the current assets is the MPBF method. Okay, in this we will be calculating the 75%. Okay, 75% of the current assets. 150 into 75 by 100, it is 3 4. 150 by 4 into 3. This will be working capital. Means it will be 450 divided by, no. Yes, it will be 450 divided by 4. 4 1 ja 4, 4 1 ja 4, 4 2 ja 8, 112.5. That will be the permissible bank finance. Maximum working capital limit. Now, we will be moving towards the next question. If a company's total current assets are 80 lakhs, total current 80 lakhs. Under method 2, current assets will be 75% of the current asset. It is will be MPBF method. It will be the 60 lakhs under method 2. A corporation has a total current assets of this. What will be the maximum permissible bank finance account? Total current assets इतने हैं तो 75% of the current assets will be under MPBF 2 method. Okay, MPBF 1 75% will be this. In the next lecture we will be discussing the cash budget method.